Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. So in today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you a first impressions review on the new Violet Voss Pro eyeshadows in Matte About You. And all the shades that I'm wearing on my eyes are in this palette. So I do include also a tutorial on the look I am wearing. If you would like to know a little more about this palette and see some swatches and see what I think about it, and also to see a tutorial on the look I am wearing, then just keep on watching. And also, if you're not yet subscribed, please don't forget to subscribe and also thumbs up this video if you enjoyed it. So let's just jump right in. So I do want to show you guys how it comes in. So of course it comes in the box, and then it comes with this styrofoam right here, and then the palette is in here with more styrofoam on the bottom. I really appreciate that they really packaged this really well. And then I also like their little box here. It's so pretty, right? But I really appreciate that they really packaged this nicely, and there was no way really for my eyeshadow palette to come broken. So I really appreciated that they really packaged it very well. So then inside you just have the palette. So this is what the outer packaging looks like. Isn't it so pretty? So first off, this palette retails for $45, and you do get 20 shadows. And I have heard that Violet Voss reformulated their shadows. I do have the Laura Lee palette, which is right here. I was going to compare it to this palette. In the back it says, hashtag Violet Voss infused with jojoba oil. Violet Voss Cosmetics is proud to present 20 highly pigmented eyeshadows in a variety of must-have finishes. Our pro eyeshadows are made with the highest quality ingredients and formulated to allow for smooth blending, the perfect go-to for any occasion to create your flawless, sexy look. So again, here's the packaging. I really like the holographic packaging. It looks like a lot of brands are coming out with holographic packaging, which I do not mind at all. So then you open this up, and then it comes in like a little, another like protective packaging as well. And you take it out, and here is the palette. When I first saw the palette, I was like, wow, this is like really thick compared to my Laura Lee. So this is the Laura Lee palette, and as you could see, the Laura Lee is like way thinner. This one looks a little like double the size. It is the same like width and everything. It's just like the thickness is the only difference really. Well, actually also the packaging. Like this is kind of like the NARS packaging on the old, well, the Violet Voss times Laura Lee. So this is the OG because I think they have like this packaging for the Laura Lee palette also. But on this one it's more like, you can, this is easier to clean off because it's not like the NARS packaging. I also want to mention that it does have a magnetic closure down here, so it won't, like, your palette won't be moving around or flapping everywhere. It will stay shut as long as you have it closed and don't try to open it, but I really like that it has the magnetic closure on here. So you open it up and you do get the protector plastic sheet, which if you guys saw my eyeshadow palette collection, you know I actually keep those. And then you also get this mirror right here, and it's actually a really big sized mirror, and it's not a janky either. You can actually use it to do your makeup. So this is what these shadows in here look like. You get 20 shades, and you get a mix of warm and cool tone shadows. I love that you have the vanilla shade right here. I love that you have a black, that you have the dark browns. You have a mix of the warm tone shades and then the cool tone shades down here. And of course, it's all matte. That's the reason why it's called Matte About You. I love the names, how like cute they are and stuff. I think this is a great palette, an all matte palette, because they really included, again, the light, the darker shades, the great transition shades for warm and cool tone looks. So I really think they did an amazing job with this palette. Again, the formula is amazing with their new reformulation. I love the Laura Lee palette. It's one of my favorites that I use quite often, but I feel like this is going to be another neutral palette that I will be using quite often as well. So to be honest, when I first saw this palette a few days ago, I was telling my friend Maria that I kind of regretted buying this because these shades down here really like look the same. But now that I have been able to play with it, I do not regret picking this up because it is like really smooth. The formula on these is really, really nice. So I did kind of regret buying it. I first told her just because these shades really looked similar to me. But I was in my kitchen and I didn't have the lights on. So they all looked like brown shades. But now that I'm looking at it, these look more like purpley shades. These three shades right here actually still kind of look the same to me. Well, these two more actually, but I changed my mind. Maria, if you're watching this, I changed my mind. So yeah, the formula on this is really nice. It is what I am wearing on my eyes, and I will be including a tutorial on my eye look as well. But these shades are really nice and buttery, super pigmented. You don't really need a lot of shadow to really get the pigmentation on your eyes. Like, a little bit does go a very long way with these. I was looking at my Laura Lee palette, and there are some similar shades. Laura Lee palette is pretty much like an everyday go-to palette for me. Matte About You palette actually has a lot of the similar shades that I actually like from the Laura Lee palette. As you can see here, this shade, Ragamuffin, is pretty much the same as Mesmerized. And then Whiskers was kind of like Darling right here. And then this one looks like a little more like a creamy matte shade, whereas this one's more of like a, I don't know, like a brighter cream shade. Then you have the two blacks. It kind of just reminded me of the Laura Lee palette on some of these. Really love the formula of the Laura Lee palette, but now that I have been able to try out the new formula of the Violet Voss new palettes, I feel like the formula improvement on these is really nice, and they're really pigmented, super blendable. This is the first time I've used it, but for first impressions, I feel like it's actually really good. I do not regret buying this, so I'm actually happy I picked this up. So overall, this palette, I actually give it a thumbs up. I was gonna say my first impression on it is good, but actually my first impression was not good. Again, the bottom shades, I just thought they were so similar, and I was not happy when I picked it up. I was like, oh my god, and I don't even think I can return it. But I'm glad I actually tried it out, and I actually really like it. Again, the shades are really pigmented, super smooth. You do not need to pack on your brush to get the pigmentation. You guys will see in my tutorial that I have coming up. If you're looking for an all-around matte, universal, like a little bit of everything palette, I think this is it. So that is all what I think about this palette. If you're able to get your hands on this, I think you should. So if you're interested to see how I created my eye look, then just keep on watching. So I already did apply eyeshadow, and I just used my Milani eyeshadow primer, and I did set it as well off of camera. I totally forgot. But you guys all know you need to set your eyeshadow. And the two shades that I took was Sweetheart and Infatuation, and it's the two lightest shades here in the palette. So the first shade I'm going to be taking in my crease is called Mesmerized. And I'm just going to be applying this like on top of the crease, and this is just going to be my first transition shade for this look. I really wanted to use like the cool tone purple shades like in this palette, but I was just gravitated towards these shades. This is my first time using this palette. I've had this palette for like 2 or 3 days, and I refused to use it because I wanted to do like a first impressions. So far, I really like it. I just used it for this eye, and it's really blendable and really pigmented also. It doesn't really take a lot to really blend out, or even to really tap in your brush for the shades. You don't have to use a lot of product either. And for that crease, I just used this Coastal Scents Classic Blending Brush. The next shade I'm going to be taking is the shade Desire, and I'm going to be taking this Sigma Small Tapered Blending E45 brush, and it's just a tapered brush so I can get more precise in my crease. And I'm just going to be taking that and just really applying it on my crease right here, doing windshield wiper motions and also like circular motions, and try to blend it all out. You guys can hear my daughter in the background. I'm sorry, but what can you do? She's on spring break right now, so she has no school. So on my lids, I'm going to be taking the shade Sweetheart and just applying it with a flat shader brush. This one's the MAC. The number is already gone, but it's the MAC 239 brush. Then I'm just going to go back with my Sigma E45 brush with no extra product and just try to blend out the edges so I don't have any harsh lines. For my outer corners, I'm going to be taking this Crown brushes, and it's like my favorite brush, as some of you guys may know. It's like pinched right here. I'm going to be taking Passion and Sweet and mixing them both together. And again, just like tapping and swiping inward just to kind of smoke out this look. To highlight my brow bone, I'm going to be taking the shade Sweetheart and to be applying it up here to bring down any eyeshadow that I went up too high with. Then I'm going to be taking my Coastal Scents blending brush and I'm gonna clean it off, and I'm just going to smooth out any harsh lines. Make sure everything is really nice and blended out, and I do not have any eyeshadow on it either. So I'm going to be applying my wing liner and lashes off of camera, and I will be right back. So as the glue is drying for my lashes, I'm going to be finishing off the lower lash line. So for my waterline, I'm going to be taking the Stila Smudge Stick Waterproof Eyeliner in the shade Deep Fuchsia. Then I'm going to be taking the shade Sweet with this MAC 228 brush. And I'm just going to be applying it really close to my waterline, just to deepen it up, like really close to the waterline. And then I'm going to be taking my crown brush again, and I'm going to be taking Passion and Sweet together, and then just smoking out the lower lash line. Then I'm going to be going in with Sweetheart with my flat shader brush and just applying it to my inner corners just to open up the eyes so it doesn't look so dark in here. And then I'll be finishing off the lower lash line with a few coats of mascara. And this one's just the Essence Forbidden Volume Mascara. So this is the finished eye look. If you're wondering what's on my lips, it is Colored Rain in Cherry Blossom, and it's a matte lip. If you enjoyed this video, please don't forget to give it a thumbs up. So if you would like to see some swatches on the shades that are in this palette, then just keep on watching. And also don't forget to subscribe if you have not yet already. And I will see you all very soon. Bye!
Could swear it's been 700 degrees in here since you came in. I could swear that this room has been running out of air, and now it's starting to spin. You make me feel kind of bad, kind of